You are Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Nuggets Nation, what is going on? Welcome on into your Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST right here on your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel, also your Locked On Nuggets podcast feed. I am your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And do me a favor, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST right here on your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, from the All-Star break. And Denver extends their win streak. I almost forgot about that a little bit. The last, week or so, right? Not thinking too much about basketball. I just got finished watching that Four Nations game between USA and Canada. Tip of the cap to Canada as they get the job done. Was unplugged. Sorry about that. If you couldn't hear me, I don't know how much you heard. Why don't we redo that? Because I was looking at my stats as that was all happening. But Denver, 9-game win streak. That's what I was talking about. And Denver, 129-115 tonight over the Charlotte Hornets. Denver improving to 37-19 at home. Charlotte is now 14-40 on the year. So it's been a rough season for Charlotte, which is nothing new, at least in recent memory here for the Charlotte Hornets, but a 9-game win streak now for Denver as they are rounding into form, folks. Jamal Murray popping off tonight. Nikola Jokic popping off tonight. Aaron Gordon back in the lineup. Michael Porter Jr. back in the lineup. Russell Westbrook back in the lineup. So the All-Star break comes at a good time for Denver as they get back on track here tonight. Really not even get back on track, but rather pick up where they left off with the 129-115 victory over the Charlotte Hornets. And man, it's good to be back. It was weird there for a week. Like, I'm so used to building these shows into my schedule. Okay, they play on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, they play on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, right? So it's nice to get back in the flow of things here, and hope all of Nuggets Nation is doing well out there. But a good win tonight for the fellas, a bit closer, but actually a bit closer than I thought it would be in spurts throughout the course of this game, just because Charlotte was on the second night of a back-to-back. They played last night at Los Angeles, which was a makeup game due to the Los Angeles fires that happened about a month ago or so. So, Charlotte, second night of a back-to-back, not a very good team right now, right? Only 14 wins on the year for Charlotte. They kept it interesting, but Denver ultimately was able to pull away here tonight with your 129-115 victory. Real quick, guys, tonight's episode of your Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. More from our friends over at FanDuel in just a little bit. In Denver, speaking of the betting lines, was a minus 1,800 favorite on the money line tonight. They were a minus 17.5 against the spread as well. So, clearly Denver was expected to win this game and win it thoroughly, and they went ahead and did just that with that 129-115 dub tonight over the Charlotte Hornets. But man, Nikola Jokic, 37 minutes tonight. He finishes with a Sombor double, 1 assist shy of a triple-double, 29 points tonight for the big fella, including 17 rebounds, 9 assists, as I mentioned, adds a steal and a block to the mix. Love to see that. And an interesting tidbit on Jokic, he was absolutely firing tonight from three-point land. His first 7 shots of the game tonight for the big fella were all from three-point range. And we know that Nikola's been, shooting the three-point ball at a pretty high level so far this season. But he ends up knocking down he ends up taking 14 three-point shots tonight, which is just crazy. Led the team in three-point shot attempts tonight. Jamal Murray was extra efficient tonight from 3 as well. But knocks down 6 of those 14 three-point shots. And I was catching up on the Twitter feed, from the Nuggets reporters in the building that were there tonight. And I saw Ryan Blackburn. Actually, I'll pull it up so I can read it to you bar for bar here in regards to Nikola Jokic's aggressiveness from beyond the arc tonight. And I like when Jokic gets aggressive from three-point land personally. Here is what Michael Malone had to say on the 28. They took 28 first half three-point shot attempts, and Jokic took 14 of those. He says, quote, I think with Jusuf Nurkic out there, he's down the floor so much in pick and rolls that the pop is available. We talked about that, and obviously Nikola is shooting the ball so well from three. So there's kind of your reasoning. It wasn't just a Nikola Jokic, let's do this tonight type thing. It was in the game plan tonight, in the cards for the Denver Nuggets to try to be aggressive with Jusuf Nurkic in the lineup tonight for Charlotte. Remember, he was traded to them. Old pal Jusuf Nurkic just this season at the trade deadline as well. So Jokic doing his thing, looking like an MVP once again. We'll see if he ends up winning it. I know there was some rhetoric going around from Kendrick Perkins and, all the cast of characters on the big networks and whatnot. But Jokic tonight, just continues to solidify his greatness with yet another incredible performance from number 15, 29 points tonight for the big fella. Jamal Murray heating up or staying hot, 34 points tonight for Jamal. Follows up a 55-point performance in the final game before the All-Star break. He was lighting it up tonight, man, and that is so important. And you all know this. I'm not telling you guys anything that you don't know already. But the Nuggets will go like what you're getting out of Nikola Jokic. Like you expect greatness from Joker game in and game out. He can't single-handedly will this team to an NBA championship or an NBA Finals appearance or a Western Conference Finals appearance. They're going to need to play that complementary basketball, and it starts with Jamal Murray, who in the first half of the year, not so hot. It was a rough start to the season for Jamal. I was talking about it here on the postcast. I know you, the fans, were out there talking about it in the comment section, talking about it on social media. But Jamal, since we flipped the calendar to 2025, is looking like the Jamal Murray of 2023, where Denver went on to win the NBA Finals, of course. So, if Jamal can continue to play at the level that he's playing, man, Denver's going to have a chance. They absolutely positively are going to have a chance in this big dance when we get to the playoffs. And only 20-something games remaining, which is crazy for me to even think, for the Denver Nuggets as they're 37-19. But number 27, the Blue Arrow tonight, 35 minutes played, 34 points for Jamal Murray. He was 12 of 18 from the field, 7 of 10 from the three-point land as well. Knocked down a few free throws, had 4 assists, and grabbed a rebound. So an impressive night from Jamal Murray as he continues to round into form at the right time with the NBA postseason rapidly approaching. I mean, it'll be here before you know it, folks. So you absolutely love to see that. So Jamal and Jokic, peanut butter and jelly, as they like to say on the broadcast, doing their thing tonight. Jamal leading the way with 34 points. Jokic adding 29 of his own, along with 17 rebounds and 9 assists. But as I mentioned in the open, everybody's healthy, for the most part, except for Peyton Watson, who's still dealing with a bit of an injury, but I expect him to be back sooner rather than later at this point. It was an initial diagnosis of about 4 weeks. I believe we're right around 3.5 weeks. So Peyton Watson, assuming everything goes according to plan with his recovery, should be back in the lineup for Denver as well sooner rather than later. So nice to see Denver get healthy over the course of the All-Star break. As I mentioned, Michael Porter Jr. back out there. He didn't do much tonight. Russell Westbrook back out there as well, along with Aaron Gordon, who's been dealing with that calf injury throughout the course of the season. They've been pretty cautious with Aaron Gordon since they've come back from the All-Star break, or not from the All-Star break, but really ever since that injury flared up in the beginning portion of the season. So Gordon tonight plays 32 minutes, 8 of 13 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, tallies 18 points tonight, grabs 7 rebounds, a couple of assists as well for AG. MPJ, only 6 points tonight, but he made up for his lack of scoring by cleaning the glass, man. 11 rebounds rather for Michael Porter Jr. tonight in the game against Charlotte, adds 3 assists as well. And Christian Brown continues to do his thing. Remember, he was removed from the starting lineup. Then he was put back in the starting lineup after Russell Westbrook got hurt, and it looks like, coming out of the All-Star break, he's going to be the go-to guy, at least for now, to kind of round out this starting 5 for Denver with Gordon, Porter, Jokic, and Murray. And Christian Brown has 10 points tonight. He was a plus 23 in the box plus minus. You'd love to see that. Couple of rebounds, couple of assists, 4 of 9 from the field for Christian Braun. You absolutely love to see that. But really not much cooking outside of that. Julian Strawther, I guess, had a nice game tonight off the bench, 16 points, a plus 16 the box plus minus. And what you need Julian Strawther to do is knock down those 3-point shots, because we know he's a little bit of a liability on the defensive end of the floor. But he made up for that tonight with his 16 points. 4 of 7 from 3 was Strawther. Also 2 of 2 from the charity stripe. Grabbed 4 rebounds, a couple of assists as well. So a good night across the board, I would say, for Julian Strawther. You like to see that for sure. And, he hit a pair of those 3-point shots, helped fuel a 13-2 run late in the game, but early in the fourth quarter, which really helped Denver kind of pull away in this game, because Charlotte was keeping it interesting. Denver outscored Charlotte 38-30 in the first quarter. They were all tied up in the second, 28-28. Charlotte then came out fast and furious there in the third, outscoring Denver 38-33. And then Denver pulls away there in the fourth quarter with Julian Strawther really providing that spark off of the bench. And then Denver closes it out with a 30-19 fourth quarter. And that's how you get to your 129-115 final score. So a good night tonight for the fellas as they rally to take down the Charlotte Hornets 129-115. All right, let me hit my first break. We only got one ad tonight, folks. We'll be talking Nuggets basketball all throughout the rest of the course of the program. We'll hit that break, come back, and do just that right here on your Locked On Nuggets POSTCAST. Back in just a moment, folks. All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about our friends over at FanDuel, because when the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting, whether I'm backing my team for a late game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch 3. I never feel like I missed my chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I'm your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. Good to be back in the saddle here tonight after about a week off for the NBA All-Star break. I did not watch the All-Star game. I don't know if that's, I know I'm not the only one. The All-Star game has just turned into this. I don't even know what the All-Star game is anymore, to be honest with you. I have like this much interest, goose egg, zero interest in watching the NBA All-Star game. So I tried to recharge the batteries here a little bit for the home stretch of the regular season, and hopefully what is expected to be a deep playoff run for the fellas here in the NBA postseason. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure. But you guys can follow me, like I said, on social media at Media by AP. If you're watching live on YouTube, do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button on your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I don't know if anyone watched that Four Nations tonight between USA and Canada. I think this is what cut out when my mic was muted. I had Four Nations on one TV, Nuggets on the other TV, going back and forth. Man, shout out to Canada, tip of the cap. What an exciting game as they take down the Stars and the Stripes in overtime. Your final score there, 3-2. What a fun game, and what an awesome tournament, I guess you could call it. Whatever you want to refer to the Four Nations as. That was really, really fun. So I watch far more basketball, baseball, and football than I do hockey. But I got my little Avalanche cap on here tonight, right? We got the footprint. Shout out Uncommon Wealth, my man Kenny out here in Colorado doing this thing. Check him out, Uncommon Wealth. But that was a fun hockey game, man. That was a fun hockey game. I know it's not a hockey show, but I just wanted to give some love to the Four Nations because as a sports fan, that had everything you were looking for in a game in, game out basis and some. So shout out to Four Nations. What a good time. But tonight for Denver, man, back on track here, 129-115. Denver now continuing to streak with a 9-game win streak, their 37th win of the season. And nothing really out of the ordinary tonight from Denver outside of the fact that I was a little surprised that Charlotte was able to keep this game as close as they did for as long as they did, just considering not only they're not a great team at 14-40 on the year with only 5 wins away from their home court, but they were on the second night of a back-to-back. They played the Lakers last night as well. So I kind of expected maybe a little bit of a letdown spot, and they played the Lakers tough. But Denver, a little slow out of the gate there, right? Took them a minute to kind of settle into a groove, but they ultimately pull away there in the fourth quarter, outscoring Charlotte 30-19, as I mentioned. But, across the board, man, tonight, great games from a lot of different guys. You like to see Aaron Gordon back out there healthy, with his 18 points. But the story of the game for sure is Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, man. And if you're a Nugget fan, like I'm sure many of you watching and listening are, you have got to be thrilled with what you've seen out of Jamal Murray. And I was talking with a buddy as we were watching both of the games kind of going down. And, he was talking about Jamal Murray's playoff stock and kind of how he's, that riser type of role, which is nothing new, right? We kind of know that's who Jamal Murray is, playoff Jamal, bubble Jamal, right? We've seen these instances time and time again. They ran out of gas last year, but, sometimes that's just how it goes. But, man, Jamal looks to be playing with a vengeance. And I forget which game it was off the top of my head here, but, Scott Hastings pulled Jamal Murray aside after a win at home and did, the post-game interview with him on the court. And it was right after when Shaq had called him out for kind of, get it together, right? Because Jamal Murray, as I mentioned, first half of the year was not playing great, not good enough, especially after signing a max contract extension. And ever since that moment, and you got Jamal kind of responding to Shaq, and Jamal was very candid talking about, Shaq's right. I've got to play better. Sometimes you got to get, torn down and get back up, right? And that's what it's been for Jamal. It seems like he was a little humbled earlier in the year, maybe not just being able to roll into the flow of the season as maybe he expected to. But lately, man, I mean, let's pull up his game log here. You have just got to be thrilled with what you've seen from Jamal Murray. You just absolutely have to love what he's been able to do on the court for the Denver Nuggets here in the last month and a half or so. I mean, look at these numbers. Tonight, as I mentioned, 34 points, 4 assists for Jamal, 2 blocks. Before, the last game entering into the break against Portland, 55 points for Jamal. Added 5 assists, 5 assists in that game as well, and grabbed 4 rebounds. Put up 17 the game before against Portland. Okay, right, you can live with that. 30 against Phoenix, 10 against New Orleans. Game before that, 20 against New Orleans, 20 against Charlotte on the first day of February. Put up 31 against Philly, 33 against the Knicks, 25 against Minnesota. I mean, Jamal Murray, man, a guy that, is beloved here in Denver for the most part. There's people that were frustrated with him, but playing like the Jamal Murray that the Denver Nuggets need moving forward this season if they want to, reach the expectations that the media set for them, that the fans have set for them, and frankly, the expectations that they've set for themselves. I've talked about this a few times throughout the course of the season here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I keep thinking back to that Ramona Shelburne article from the 4-Letter Network, and she got the interview with Michael Porter Jr., and it was kind of a deep dive in a behind-the-scenes look at Calvin Booth and, the overall dynamics of this Denver Nuggets team. And there's a quote, I recommend you read this story if you haven't, from Michael Porter Jr. talking about how, if we don't do it again this year, they're probably going to break the band up. And that still could very well be the case. But Denver opts to hold on to Michael Porter Jr. They don't make any moves at all, not even a fringe move or rotation piece at the NBA trade deadline. Zeke Naji is still here. He played tonight. What did Zeke do? I think he put up, 8 points tonight, I want to say, or 4 points tonight for Zeke. 2 or 3 from the field, grabbed 3 rebounds as well. So he's kind of earning some rotation minutes. I don't really know why, but, they're obviously, they lack some depth there at the forward position. So a big body there in Zeke Naji with 16 minutes played tonight, third most minutes off the bench. Russell Westbrook obviously with 26 and Julius Randle with 22. Then Zeke Naji there and DeAndre Jordan to follow that up. So Zeke's getting some run. But, there was times throughout the course of the early portion of the season where you're like, are they just going to blow this thing up? Is Michael Porter Jr. as good as gone? Why did they sign Jamal Murray to a max contract extension if he's going to play like this? And ever since, the last 5 or 6 weeks, Calvin Booth has been proven right. The Nuggets have been proven right because they're playing really, really high level basketball right now. And I get that tonight was against the Charlotte Hornets, right? So you don't want to go too crazy. The 55 points that Jamal put up were against the Portland Trailblazers. You don't want to go too crazy. We need to see Denver get some signature wins. The Lakers, I know it's a bit of a different dynamic with them coming up on Saturday night with Luka Doncic coming to town. That would be a quality win. And we know that, Denver owns the Lakers right now, which we love to see. But, you want to see Denver continue to stack these wins 100%. And you know what else is a big takeaway tonight? A big takeaway? Don't look now, folks. Denver's in second place in the Western Conference. They are slowly but surely moving up the leaderboards here in the standings, in the Western Conference. They're probably not going to catch Oklahoma City. We know what they're doing this year. They're a phenomenal team. That's the only team that I truly am a bit afraid of when it comes to a playoff matchup. Obviously, you've got Minnesota in the back of your head, but no Karl-Anthony Towns, I think, really opens up that matchup a little bit. But, as I mentioned, Denver's tonight with the win and a loss tonight from Memphis has moved Denver into second place in the NBA's Western Conference. So what seems like doom and gloom for the first 2 and a half months of the season is now turned into optimism, I would say. You've got to feel really good about the Denver Nuggets' chances. And here's what I say. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. It's also partially because I've got a free bet that I'm trying to decide what to use on FanDuel. Denver's right around 14-1 odds to win the chip. And obviously, it's not an easy thing to do. It isn't. But when you have the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic, that alone gives you a chance. But when you couple in Jamal Murray and you add Michael Porter Jr., who's had some moments here as of late, you've got a healthy Aaron Gordon. You had Russell Westbrook continuing to do what he's doing. You've had Julian Strawther knocking down three-point shots. Maybe Jalen Pickett gets some more rotation minutes. Christian Brown, awesome complimentary piece to the starting rotation. You tell me. Oklahoma City, if they let's say it's a Nuggets Thunder Western Conference final. Oklahoma City's a darn good team. They are 100%. But you know what they don't have? Experience in the pressure cooker. This is a team that was also very good last year that didn't get to the Western Conference Finals. So you got to like Denver's chances, just with their experience, their continuity, their momentum, 9-game win streak. Again, a lot of basketball left. About just under 30 games left in the regular season. Let's see how they finish. But with the energy that they brought tonight, coming out of the All-Star break, a little lackadaisical, but closing strong, finishing strong. You got to feel good about Denver and where they're at right now, man. You got to feel good. So 129-115, your final score here tonight. Pretty standard rotation tonight from Michael Malone. Same starting five. Christian Brown back there with the starters. No Russell Westbrook, but I think Russ is going to play plenty of minutes. Right, he played 26 tonight. CB played 33, but I think CB's also kind of earned a little bit of leeway there with Michael Malone, especially since he's been playing better here as of late. But Russ tonight only 8 points. But he had 7 assists, grabbed 3 rebounds, was a plus 17 in the box plus minus, so made his impact felt there for sure. 1 of 4 from 3, 3 of 10 from the field. So, you like that from Russell Westbrook. And he is, that veteran type of role, right? Like, as much as I like Russell Westbrook in the starting lineup, and it's awesome to see kind of this redemption arc, like, remember who Russell Westbrook is at this point in his career. And he is willing, I don't want to say to take the back seat because that's not what Russell Westbrook is doing, but he's willing to be that team player and play whatever role on any given night, any given game that will help this Denver Nuggets team ultimately, continue to build this momentum. Hopefully we get to a 10-game win streak here on Saturday. And so you got to love that from Brody, man. And like I said, Julian Strawther had a nice game tonight. So I'm not going to go crazy. It is the Charlotte Hornets. They made it a little bit closer than I thought it was going to be. But Denver, when they needed to, they flipped that switch there in the fourth quarter, put the clamps on defense, and outscore them 30-19 there in the final quarter of the game. Let's take a look at some of the box score stats here. Denver tonight, efficient from the field. They've shot 50%, 49 for 98 compared to 43.4% for Charlotte. And both teams shot the ball from three-point land pretty well tonight. Denver, 19 for 43, 44%. You're going to take that every game. And Charlotte tonight, 15 for 37. That's good for 40%. So they shot it pretty well tonight as well. But, overall, Denver cleaned up on the glass tonight, too, 55-45 in favor of the Nuggets. They had one more assist than Charlotte, 29-28. Just a lot to like tonight. I guess the one thing that, is pretty uncharacteristic of the Denver Nuggets is they were matched up. They tied in the fast break points. That's usually the bread and butter of this Denver Nuggets team, getting the rebound, getting out and running in transition, layup, corner three, whatever it might be. They both finished tonight with 15 points in the fast break scenarios there. But Denver, they also tied up in the points in the paint. And, at the end of the day, you'll live with it in a win, 129-115. But another thing that you want to see Denver try to clean up, the turnovers, a bit sloppy at points throughout the course of the game here tonight. They had 14 of them. But again, first game back from the All-Star break, kind of have to recalibrate the mind, get locked back in. And I think Denver just, they were able to do that, especially there in the fourth quarter. That's the ultimate telling sign for me in this game, is how Denver was able to finish, which was strong, by clamping down on defense, knocking down some shots, and taking care of business against the Charlotte Hornets. But okay, let's take a look here real quick before we get out of here of what is coming up on the schedule for Denver. Of course, as I teased, you've got the Lakers here coming up on Saturday, 6:30 p.m. tip. That's an ABC ESPN game. Or it's on ESPN Plus rather, but it'll be on ABC. So that's a nationally televised game. So that'll be an interesting matchup. And then Denver with an interesting 4-game road trip after the game against Los Angeles here on Saturday. So they'll be up on Sunday. They head to Indiana to take on the Pacers. Should be able to get the dub there. And then 3 interesting games in a row for Denver. They'll have multiple days off. So they'll play on Monday, and they'll have Tuesday and Wednesday off before they come back on Thursday to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. And then they'll have a back-to-back on Friday against the Detroit Pistons before a marquee matchup once again on national TV, 11 a.m. tip-off between the Denver Nuggets and the Boston Celtics at the TD Garden. Early tip-off there on Sunday. But you want to talk about gut check games? You want to talk about proving yourself type of games? Denver's going to have that here coming up with the Lakers on Saturday, Milwaukee next Thursday, and Boston on Sunday. So 3 pretty interesting games out of the next 5. Detroit's going to be fun too. But, Detroit is not on the same level as Boston or Milwaukee or even the Lakers, which I hate to admit, but they've been playing pretty good here as of late. Although the Luka dynamic, how's that going to work out? Does that kind of mess up with the chemistry, right? Because the Lakers were playing really good with LeBron and AD as of late. They had to, grind out a victory last night against Charlotte and the Lakers. So that'll be an interesting matchup, man. I'm looking forward to that one for sure. And I'm really looking forward to that matchup against Boston on Sunday. Not this Sunday, but March the 2nd, which is crazy to think that it's already going to be March. Like, here we are, less than 30 games left in the regular season for the Denver Nuggets. But all right, good stuff, man. That is going to do it for me on tonight's episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Really appreciate y'all tapping in, as always, on your way out. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button for me if you don't mind. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast right here on your Locked On Sports Denver YouTube channel. Good win tonight for the fellas, 129-115. They'll rest on Friday and come back with a furious matchup against the Los Angeles Lakers, as Denver will look to extend their win streak to 10 games. Enjoy it, folks. Have a good Friday. Have a good Saturday. We'll talk to you guys Saturday night as well after that Laker game, hopefully after a dub, and we'll see how it goes. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP, but enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you guys on Saturday. Have a good night, folks.